There. Okay, I'm recording this session now. Okay, my dear people, so I was waiting for Maria Jose, but well, let's start. Maybe she's gonna come later. Now, today we're gonna be working in our class number 6. This class is a little bit long, so probably I'm going to take 5-10 minutes more, but it's not going to be too much. It's only because I want all the topics to be super clear, okay? So don't worry. Bueno, my dear people, so I want to start with a question, but it's a simple question, right? Daniel, could you please help me to read the question, my friend?
Which has been the most determining moment of my life?
Good, exactly. So I want you to think yourself, like wonder yourself, like which has been the most determining moment of my life. Of course, maybe you have a lot of different moments in mind, no? I have an example here. It's like by the time the pandemic arrived to Colombia, I had never shared so much time with my family. And then after that, I had to learn to get along with them. Do you remember what is the meaning of get along with somebody? Get along with?
Estar con.
Llevarse bien.
Sorry, once again.
Llevarse bien.
Llevarse bien, very good. So have a good relationship with someone, right? So in that case, I would say that by the time the pandemic arrived, before that, I had never shared so much time with my family, and I had to learn to get along with them. So probably I would say that the most determining moment of my life was when the pandemic arrived, when the pandemic started, because in that moment my life changed a lot, right? Think in your lives and tell me which has been the most determining moment of your life. Maybe when you had kids, maybe when you graduated, maybe when you fell in love for the first time. I don't know. What do you think? Which was that moment super determining on your life?
By the time I was in last semester
In
for
last
my
semester?
last semester in, in the university, I get pregnant.
Oh
So
my
it
God.
was I had to I get 2 degrees.
Pregnant. So you
Yes.
graduated pregnant.
Yes.
My God, that's super difficult. Oh my God. Okay, very good. Good, good. Well, important here, Tatiana used by the time, right? By the time, what is the meaning of by the time? Do you remember?
Como por esos tiempos, en ese tiempo,
Very good. Para ese entonces, ¿no? So by the time, o para ese momento, when the pandemic arrived, or in that case, when Tatiana was in the last semester of the career. Very good. Excellent. Anybody else? So when she was in the last semester, she got pregnant. So she had to finish the career with the baby in her body, right? Good. Muy bien. Anybody else? Any other determining moment of your lives?
Me, um, my determining moment of my life was when I became a mom.
Also. Okay. Why? Why was so determining?
Because change everything, change all my mind, my things to do, my body, my everything changed when
Everything.
a baby came.
Okay, very good. Perfect. That's great. So yeah, I choose that moment because I suppose that it's an special moment when change the life of any person, no? Muy bien, very good. Guys, what about you? If you haven't become fathers, like which has been the most determining moment of your life?
Teacher, in my case, by the time I graduate from college, because allowed me to advance in my career,
Ah, from school.
university.
Ah, from university. Okay, good. So you finish the career and then of course you finish the degree and then continue advancing on the career, no?
Mhm.
Good, Santi, good, excellent. Okay, Majo, what about you? What do you think?
Well, by the time I got graduated from high school, I had to move to Bogota. I am from Santa Marta, so I had to move to Bogota to follow my dreams, to study what I wanted, that is acting.
Mhm.
And yes, it was really difficult because change the city, living alone. I was living by myself without any parents, family, or
Oh my
anything like
God.
that. And I
Uh-huh.
had only 17, if I'm not bad. And I got lost in the city. I didn't knew everything about anything,
Of
directions,
course.
stuff. And well, it was difficult.
I can imagine, my God. Majo,
Yes.
I was only 17. No, I had, but I was only 17 because it's the age, no? So I was only 17.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a common mistake, no problem. Bueno, my dear, very good. Danny, do you have anything else? Any other opinion? Any other determining moment?
Mm, Maybe my most determining moment was when I decided to study my career because it took me to this moment.
What is this moment when you are finishing your career, when you are learning English or what?
Learning English
Mhm.
to maybe in a future move to Canada.
Ah, good. Okay, what is your career, Danny?
Civil engineering.
Okay, do you think that you can apply that in Canada?
Yes.
Good, perfect, that's great. Okay. Bueno, guys, so the question about the most determining moment of your life is because it's basically what we have learned, right? When we talk about a determining moment, it's a moment what we can call a turning point, turning point. It means a moment when my life changed. As of course, Sarah said, when she became a mother, everything changed. The priorities, the body, the mood, everything changed. Same for Majo, no? When she came to Bogota, everything changed. She changed the context, the city, the priorities also, right? Also for Daniel, when he decided to study civil engineering, everything changed. So in this case, when something changed, when a part of our life changed, well, that usually teaches something, no? So, for example, here, when the context of the reality changed, I learned to get along with my with my mother and my brother. That's my family, right? So in that case, when we talk about what I have learned, it's because we have two different situations there. One, it's the moment, the turning point, right? So this is the turning point. It's the moment that we commented. It's the determining moment of my life. When I decided the career, when I graduated, when I became a mother, when I changed the city, so on, so on. But around that turning point, there are going to be other situations that we want to comment, right? For example, Tatiana told us that when she was in the last semester, yes, she became pregnant. So after that, yes, she graduated pregnant, which I suppose that she learned to be responsible. She learned to take care of the baby without job. Well, I don't know, no, I'm just supposing, but many things that probably she learned from that experience, right? So she graduated pregnant, no? Or for example, we know that she said, Maria Jose told us that when she was 17, yeah, when she was 17, she moved to Bogota, and after that she got lost, and after that she had problems with different aspects of the city, and so on, right? So in that case, I have to make a relationship between those two moments with the time expressions. One of the time expressions that I used was by the time, to say para ese momento. Yes? But we have others. Others like which ones? Look, we're going to talk about, today we're going to be talking about a lot about the past. So it's just one part, but that's the idea. First, we have to relate to learn how to connect my ideas in order to give the correct order to the situation, right? Expressions like, for example, after or before, they are very clear, no? When I say after, was is, after the situation. For example, my father died like, 22 years ago, more or less, in the year 2000. After my father died, I became more independent. When I was a baby, but not a baby, I was 8 years old, but anyway, I became more independent. I want to express that this situation that I became more independent happened after my father died, right? So in that case, of course, I use the connector after, easy. The same can happen with before, of course, but the opposite. Before it means this one, no? So before I graduated from university, I spent much time with my friends. No, but before, in that case, I'm using the connector before. Super easy, right? But then I'm going to have other different connectors. For example, as soon as, for example, the moment, or for example, once. What is the meaning of as soon as? Do you remember?
Tan pronto como.
Tan pronto como. Thank you so much. And what about the moment? What is the meaning of the moment?
En el momento.
En el momento, very good. And once?
Una vez.
Una vez que, very good. So in that case, when I use once or the moment or as soon as, I am talking about something that happened immediately after another situation. So I have my turning point and immediately, or maybe at the same time, the other situation happened, no? For example, as soon as she graduated, she had her baby. Imagine that it's immediately after. Or for example, the moment that Maria Jose arrived to Bogota, she started to have problems with the city. Imagine that it was immediately after. Or for example, once we started the course, we changed our pronunciation, something like that. No, so in that case, we have these three different connectors: as soon as, once, and the moment, yeah, which are going to help me to describe something that happened immediately after or basically at the same time. Also, it's like using basically when, no? That it's like when that happened, then the other situation happened, right? All of these connectors that can help me to connect, of course, two different ideas of my past and describing what happened before what, or if the situations happen at the same time, or this happened after the other, or what. Ready? So we have when is the most common, after, before, as soon as, once, and the moment. Hasta ahí easy. Until that part, we have two different possibilities to connect ideas. Remember that we can have the connector at the beginning, sentence number 1, comma, and sentence number 2, or the sentence number 1, the connector, and the sentence number 2, right? That's another possibility. For example, I can say, after my father died, comma, I became more independent. Or I became more independent after my father died. Yes? Or for example, as soon as I graduated, comma, I started to work. Or I started to work as soon as I graduated, right? So in that case, I can have the two possibilities. In this case, with these expressions, after, before, as soon as, once, the moment, and when, I am going to have simple past in both cases. Simple past and simple past. For example, I don't know, before I worked, I received money from my mom. Of course, I didn't work. So before I worked, I received money from my mom. Wait, from my mom, right? Both in simple past, received and worked, right? Hasta ahí, easy. But if we go to the example over here, I said that by the time the pandemic arrived, simple past, very good, I had never shared so much time with my family. So when we have the other two expressions, by the time and until, para ese entonces o hasta ese entonces, I am going to use past perfect. Why? Because by the time and until are expressions that help me to describe something that had happened before the turning point, right? For example, I would say that by the time I moved alone, yeah, I hadn't cooked by myself. So when I moved alone, I learned to cook, but by that time or until that time, I had never cooked before, right? By myself. So in that case, when I use by the time and until, the first sentence is in simple past, but the second sentence is in past perfect. Okay, past perfect. Ready? What do you think? Questions about these expressions? Easy, difficult, more or less? Is it all right? Questions?
No, teacher.
No, it's all right. Well, good. Guys, I would like you to think in your turning points, the moments that you selected at the beginning, no? When you were in the last semester, when you moved to Bogota, or when you finished the university, or when Daniel selected the career, no? Think on that turning point and tell me which is the lesson that that moment give you, right? So what did it teach you, right? What did you learn from that experience using any of these expressions? By the time, until, as soon as, after, before, whatever, right? From all the experiences that you told me, you can use one of that so you can create the lesson, right? You can use the option 1 or the option 2. Both options are exactly the same. It changes the order, but it's going to be exactly the same. So think for a second. What did you learn? Which is that important? Well, the important moment you already selected, so you can tell me what is the lesson of that moment.
Well, as soon as I arrived in Bogota, I learned that I realized that I wasn't a little girl anymore and that I had to be stronger and start to be independent and do things by myself.
Wonderful, very good. So she says, as soon as I arrived to Bogota, not in Bogota, but to Bogota, right? I realized that I was not a little girl anymore, and I had to be stronger, independent, autonomous, and do the things by herself. Very good. Wonderful, Smile. Excellent. Anybody else?
After I became mom, became mom, yes, became mom. I learned that my life never would be like
The same.
before of that. Never.
Of course,
Ne-
my God. Thank you, Daddy. Of course. So she realized that her life would never be the same. Yeah, it was not going to be the same than before. Excellent. Perfect. Okay. Anything else? Sara, Santi, Danny?
Yes, teacher. In my case, as soon as I graduated from university, I learned to apply my knowledge in real life problems.
Good, good. What is your career, Santi?
Software engineer.
Software engineer.
Mhm.
Good. Okay. Very good. So that question that the people always ask, like, okay, and what is the use of this mathematics? What is the use of the calculus in real life? You learn it after the university.
Yes, and an office is apply this knowledge.
Apply.
Apply.
Apply. Of course. Very good. Thank you, Santi. Excellent. That's great. Danny, Sarah, anything else? Any other opinions?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was finishing university, I had learned how to raise my baby.
Okay. So before of that, Yeah.
Yeah.
or in that moment specifically?
No, in that moment.
Okay, so in that case, the second one is also in simple past, because if you said I had learned, oh, maybe
Yeah.
you wanted to say I had to learn.
Ah, yeah.
Good. Okay, I had to learn, which is like tuve que aprender, right? But because if I say I had learned, it's like había aprendido, no? But in that case, I had to learn. Good.
So if I say I had learned, is because that was before.
Exactly, like in this
Oh,
case.
okay,
No?
okay,
Uh-huh.
okay.
That was,
Thank
I
you,
said,
sí.
like, okay, o sea, you were a mommy before you graduated.
Yeah, 1 year
Mm.
before.
1 year. My God, almost similar to Tatiana, no? Like in the last semesters, you became a mom.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. Listo, Sarita. Thank you so much. Very good. Excellent. So in this case, the idea was like you could describe one specific moment of your life and make a relationship between that moment and other different aspect of your life. Something that you learn could be before or could be after. Well, usually you always talk about what happened after that, but also you could talk about what happened before. No, for example, I don't know. In the case of Sarah, by the time she became a mother, she had completed almost all her career. Or, for example, by the time Maria Jose arrived to Bogota, she had been spoiled in Santa Marta by her parents, no? So I can talk about usually what happened after the situation, but I can also talk about what happened before the situation with the expression by the time, until, and the past perfect, or simply with the expression before. When I use before, I can use both in simple past. Super simple, right?
Teacher,
Wait, yes,
what,
no.
sorry, what doesn't mean is spoiled?
Yeah.
What is it?
Spoiled, it's a kid. Sorry, it's with only one L. Spoiled, it's a person, not necessarily a kid, who has been taken care. And how do you say that? When the kid receives like a lot of attention and is well raised, but
Mhm.
receives a lot of attention and like
Okay.
consentido.
Ah, okay. Yes, I was really spoiled before.
I knew it, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Good. So exactly. So by the time she arrived here, she had been before. She had been spoiled by her parents in Santa Marta. Right. That's it. Bueno, very good. So then that's the first part. Learning with this expression, with these connectors, with these adverbs of time. How can we connect to situations of my life, making a relationship, especially of time, right? But over here, some of these situations, right, are positive, but some others are negative, right? Oh my God, sorry. I should wait. Wait, no, that's it. I have to use it here. The line again. Excellent. That's it. So when I have negative situations in my past life, yeah, there is something that I don't like, something that I dislike about my past, is because I have a regret. Do you know what is the meaning of regret?
Arrepentimiento.
Yeah, exactly. Something that I don't like from my past. Yes. So, for example, in my case, something super stupid, but it's something that I don't like. In the year 2013, I was about to finish my career. It was 1 year before, and I applied to interchange with another university in Mexico. For some different bureaucratic problems, I didn't complete the process, and I said like, no, later I do it. Later I will have the time to travel, but I didn't. So in 2013, I lost my opportunity to study abroad, right? And I think in this moment that it was a very stupid move. Yes, it was a very big mistake. So I think that I should have a like made, or like, you know, I should have completed the exchange with the other university, right? It's a very big regret that I have. In that case, I said I should have completed. Anybody knows what is the meaning of this expression? Should have completed?
Debí haber completado.
Good. When I have regrets or situations of my past that I don't like, I'm going to use the structure should have and the verb in past participle, which is going to be debí haber, or if it's negative, no debí haber. I shouldn't have I shouldn't have lost this opportunity, right? In that case, what I'm going to use is using simply should, have, always have, siempre have, and then the verb in past participle, always in the past participle. First saying debía haber, and then the opportunity, the verb that I want to use. Ready? So that was in 2013. That's why I use like a recommendation, but it's about the past. So it becomes about a regret. Ready? I should have completed the exchange with the other university. That's a regret that I have. What about you? Look back into your past and tell me, what do you regret? Think about a situation that you don't like about your past and tell me what you should have done or what you shouldn't have done.
When I was in university, we had a field work, and we traveled around Colombia. We crossed Oriental, Central, and Western. How do you say that? Cordillera.
Ah, the mountain line.
Yes, the mountain line. And I think I should have pay more attention.
So you were sharing
Because
time with your friends, chatting,
yes, yes, a lot.
gossiping.
So
It
I
happens.
really, I should have paid more attention.
Exactly. You should have paid more attention. What's your career, Tati?
I am a geologist.
Oh my God, you should have paid more attention.
Yes.
Oh my. Okay, very good. So she recognized, no, that's a honest mistake. She said, no, I should have paid more attention. Thank you, Tati. Thank you so much. What about the others? Any regret that you have in your past? Oh no, everything has been perfect. He said, not sure. I don't have regrets. All my life is perfect. I never made mistakes.
Me,
Ta-da.
maybe 3 years ago, I should have been with more with my family.
During the pandemic.
No, before that.
Good.
One uncle died, so
Mm.
I was so a part of them. So I wanted to spend more time with him.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm so sorry about it. Usually we realize those mistakes after the moment it's too late. No, we say like, I should have done that when it's already nothing to do, when it's already too late. But I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, thank you, Sarita. Thank you so much. Majo, Santi, what about you? Any regrets?
Teacher, I should have started studying programming before college. I could have had more skills.
Okay, so he said I should have uh, started learning programming before. You know, that's true. My brother actually is a system engineer and he had to start Python and all of that before the university. Then when he started the university, he already had like some skills.
Yes.
Mhm. Programming it's with double N before. Muy bien. Very good. That's it. Thank you so much, Santi. Okay. Majo, what about you? No mistakes? No regrets?
Teacher, I don't have regrets, but not because everything is perfect. It is because I feel like everything has happened and it has to be, or as it should be,
As it should
right?
be.
So, or maybe I regret about I should like cry less when I arrived here in Bogota. I should
Uh-huh.
no, I should have cried less. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
you could be that, or the other way, that it's like I shouldn't have cried at all, no? Like
Yes.
I shouldn't have cried.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
well,
okay.
maybe not so much, really, a little bit, yes. But good, I
At
shouldn't
least
have
I
cried.
cried a lot. All days, all nights, I was
So you were
crying.
dehydrating, you were
Yes,
dehydrating by your eyes. Oh
like
my God.
crazy. Yes, yes. So
So
maybe that.
did you think on going back to Santa Marta?
Of course, but the dreams was so strong. Were stronger than my cry.
Oh my God, that my pain, no? Because it's like not physical pain, but spiritual pain, right?
Yes, yes.
Good, excellent. Okay, guys, so in that case, with this structure, using should or shouldn't have, what you can describe are the things that you don't like about your past, especially with yourself. The next week, we are going to see that we can also apply this structure to other people, but in that case, it's not going to be a regret. Regret only when we talk about ourselves. When we apply this expression to other different person, to another subject, it's going to become a judgment. Any ideas what is the meaning of judgment?
Como crítica.
Yeah, exactly. Like criticism about the actions of the other person. In that case, it's not a regret. Regret, it's only about our own actions. But a judgment, it's going to be about the other people's actions. We're going to see that in the week number 7, no worries. So it's pretty simple to describe these regrets because it's only with I, and because should is always the same, have is always the same. What you only have to change is the verb in past participle. Yeah, fortunately, all of you manage a good vocabulary, so all of you know perfectly the verbs in past participle, so that's gonna be easier for you, right? Now, let me continue. In this case, we describe, well, first we describe some situation of our past and related with other situations, right? And then we describe a regret of our past, yeah? In the description of my regret, I said that in 2013, I didn't travel. I lost my opportunity, yes? So I continued here in the National University, continue my career. And 1 year later, in the year 2014, I finished. Yeah, so I finished my career in the 2014 because I didn't travel, right? So I finished faster. But in the hypothetical case that I had traveled in an imaginary situation that I had traveled, no? So I said, if I had traveled, if I had traveled, it means no, it was not real and it's never going to be real, but I am thinking imaginarily what would have happened if I had traveled in that moment. Unfortunately, if I had traveled in that moment, I would have finished in 2015 because of course the here in Bogota I advanced faster than in Mexico. So in that case, if I had traveled imaginarily, I would have finished in the other year that it was the 2015, but it never happened. I am just thinking hypothetically, right? So my dear people, in this case we are facing a hypothetical situation about the past with a hypothetical consequence also in the past. I introduced the third conditional or the conditional number 3. It's gonna be a hypothetical situation in the past. It's never going to happen, and I mean, it never happened in reality, and it is never going to happen, and it has a hypothetical crazy consequence that I imagine about that hypothetical condition. Ready? That's gonna be the third conditional, and its creation is also related to this class because it's like when we think how our life would have been if I hadn't had those regrets. Ready? So, what would have happened if you had paid more attention, my dear daddy? What would have happened if you had studied programming before? What would have happened if you had, I don't remember Sarah's regret, if you had, what was your regret, Sarita?
Being with my family.
Yeah, of course. What would have happened if you had stayed more time with your family? Or what would have happened if Maria Jose hadn't cried so much, right? The structure is going to be super simple. It's just going to be the condition is the first part. It's going to be if, the subject, and the verb in past perfect. Si hubiese hecho tal cosa, all right? If I had traveled to Mexico, complement, yes. And then we have the consequence. The consequence is the second part after the comma, and it's going to have subject, can be the same or can be different from the other. The modal verb usually is would, right? Usually is would, but also could be could or might. Actually, Santiago gave us an example. He said, if I had studied programming before, I could have had more skills. So could or would or might, it's the other possibility, and then have. As it's a modal verb in the past, I'm going to use the modal verb have and then the verb in past participle, right? So if I had traveled or if I had gone to Mexico, I would have finished, in past participle, finished my career in 2015, right? That is the third conditional. It's a hypothetical situation about the past with a hypothetical consequence also in the past. Ready? Here we have another example. It says, if I had had more patience, had el primero de auxiliar, el segundo del verbo tener, so si hubiese tenido, if I had had more patience, comma, I wouldn't have broken up with her, right? So if I had had more patience, I wouldn't have broken up with her. Would, in this case negative, wouldn't have, and then the very past participle, broken. Ready? So that's the third condition. Questions about it? Más o menos, more or less, what do you think? Too complicated, too difficult?
It's clear for me.
Teacher, could you remember what's the meaning of might?
Of course, might, it's also similar to podría, but it's a smaller possibility than could. So when I say, for example, I could have been, no sé, I could have been happier, and I said I might have been happier, might is a smaller possibility. So it's like also pude haber sido feliz, pero en un grado de posibilidad menor que could.
Thank you.
Ready? Okay, good. Listo, my dear people. So basically that's the third conditional. It's super simple, right? I mean, if you understand the use, it's easy to use. The structure is pretty easy. Now, guys, I would like you to describe, right? Something, a point in your life that possibly had other consequence if it changed. Could be this one, could be this point of your life, or could be another one, right? For example, Majo, what would have happened if you hadn't come to Bogota? It's a possibility, right? Or for example, Sarita and Tati, what would have happened if you hadn't become mommies, right? That's a possibility, right? Or Santi, what would have happened if you had chosen another different career? Nothing. Think in a moment of your life before and something that can have been different according to that change, right? Doesn't necessarily has to be a judgment. Of course, can be the regret, sorry, can be the regret, like in this case, or can be another different situation. For example, I imagine that if I had studied other career, if I had studied other career, right, I wouldn't have worked for smart. That's of course true. Yeah. Because if I had studied other career, I think that I would have chosen psychology or I don't know, psychology. I don't know. I had other possibilities, but like physical education teacher or those things. I really didn't like the mathematics, so that's why I choose my skills, which were languages and other aspects, right? So I think that if I had studied other different career, I wouldn't have worked for Smart. What about you?
Teacher, I have something crazy to say.
Go ahead.
If I had continued with my ex-boyfriend, I would be married right now because he was going to propose me 1 week before I ended up with him.
Oh my God. Are you sure
Yes.
that the man is still alive? I mean, breaking up 1 week after. My God, that's so sad.
No, 1 week before we were going to propose, I ended up with him because I found out that he were going to propose, and I didn't want to marry that soon.
Oh
And he got
my
mad
God.
about that. And well, that was crazy. So
Okay,
crazy.
that's a change, So if she had continued with her ex-boyfriend, she would have been married with the guy, or
Yeah.
she would have gotten married with the guy.
Yeah.
My God. Bueno, so you said like, oof, I escaped from the bullet, no?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Maho, thank you so much. What about the rest, guys?
If I hadn't studied geology, I couldn't travel around our country and know a lot of beautiful and remote places,
Exactly,
and
very good.
silent
So
places.
if she hadn't studied geology, she couldn't have traveled around the country and known so many exciting and far and remote places. There is not another career that can help us to do that, no? Like it's very difficult to. So if she had studied other career, maybe she couldn't have done that. Excellent. That's great. Very good. What about the others?
Teacher, in my case, if I had started studying programming before college, I would have been more prepared for it.
Okay, good, Santi, excellent. So I assume that programming was a difficult subject at the school, at the university.
The main theme.
Of course, it was the main topic, the main thing, but was it difficult for you? I mean, did you have problems with?
In the beginning, but with practice is more easy.
Good, excellent. That's right. That's the idea. Santi, pronunciation of this word, my brother. My God, it's only one T. Beginning. Beginning.
Okay.
Right, beginning. Okay, very good. Excellent. Narita, do you have any?
Yes, teacher. If I stayed in United States, I might have married
I mean, did
Yeah.
you have a person or someone, an American
Yeah,
guy?
I had one, but first my priority was finish my university. So I say to him like bye bye.
No,
Yes,
mentiras. I don't know if
girl.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
For
it's not
you.
because it's not because I was unfair. It was maybe my priority was came here and stay in Colombia and have finish my school and then my university and then go again. But no,
So
wasn't true.
you wanted to, you did want to marry the guy
Before.
later.
No, not right now. Yeah, not right now.
I know right now nothing. No. Okay, good, very good, excellent. Okay, my dear Sarah. Well, Danny, you went away from some time, Daniel. So we are talking about the third conditional, my brother. Super simple. As a matter as a summary, it's a hypothetical situation in the past that could have had a consequence in the past. So we are talking about imagining our life in the past and something different and what could have been the consequence of that. For example, she said, sorry, Sarah said, like, if she had stayed in the United States, she would have gotten married with an American guy. The same said Majo, if she had continued with her ex-boyfriend, she would have gotten married with the guy, no? In my case, I talk about like if I had studied other career, I wouldn't have worked for Smart, right? So it's a hypothetical situation in the past with a consequence also in the past. The structure, Danny, is super simple. I have if, the subject, and the verb in past perfect, and then the complement, that is the condition, if I had done or if I hadn't done, and the consequence is then the subject, the modal verb, which is would, could, or might, and then have, and then the verb in past participle. Okay, Danny? You can watch the repetition of the class, and then you will start it, you will understand it easier, okay?
Okay.
Ready, okay, perfect. Bueno, my dear people, so almost finishing here, we have been talking about different aspects of, oh my God, sorry. We have been talking about different aspects of our lives, most of them in the past, right? Regrets, actions that we didn't like from the past, turning points or like determining moments of our past, and also imagining an alternative past, right? I am going to ask you a couple of questions more, and I would like to see which are your answers. Ready? So, for example, what do you recommend? Oh, sorry, recommend to keep a marriage alive? What do you recommend to keep a marriage alive? The people who are already married. Any recommendations?
Patience.
Okay, very good.
Mountains of patience.
Very good, Tati. That's something very important, no? So to keep a marriage alive, you gotta have patience. Very good. Okay. Any other recommendation?
Dialogue.
Hmm. Hmm. Any
Trust.
other?
I would
Okay.
recommend to trust in your parent.
The same as Santiago. Trust. Good. Very good. So the two guys believe in trust. Good. That's great. It's a good recommendation. Good.
I
Okay.
am not married, but my parents always says that respect for each other and to listen to each other also.
Okay. So respect and listen. Very good. That's great. Excellent recommendations. All of them are pretty valid. Ready? Second question. What do you recommend? Yeah. What do you recommend to be emotionally healthy? what do you recommend to be emotionally healthy?
Make exercise or do what?
May.
How do
Well,
you
actually,
make
exercise. That's it. Exercise, because exercise is already a verb. Exercise or workout is the same, right? Muy bien, very good. What other?
Talk about your feelings.
Okay, so talk about your feelings, express your feelings, right? Mhm. Okay, do you have another? Maybe another one, another last one?
For me, it's so important to have a good relationship with God. I am a Christian, so I feel like if I have a very good relationship with God, I am gonna be healthy, emotionally healthy.
Good, excellent, that's great. Well, so in that case, have a good relationship with God. Perfect, that's also good. Bueno, so here you give me a lot of recommendations, right? But how can you express that recommendation is for a specific purpose? Because in this case, you tell me, teacher, be patient or have patience. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have patience. But that recommendation or respect the person or listen to each other or trust you in your couple, all of those recommendations have a specific purpose, right? So in this case, my dear people, when we want to describe the purpose of something, in this case, a recommendation, but can be anything, I am going to have two possibilities. Ready? I'm going to have to use the preposition to or the preposition for. These two prepositions are going to have the same purpose that it's describing purpose exactly, right? The difference is that when I have to, I am going to have after that a verb, and when I have for, I am going to have a noun. If the noun is a verb, of course, it's going to be the possibility to use it in ing. Ready? For example, the recommendation, the first recommendation, what was the purpose? What was the purpose of the first recommendation?
Stay married alive.
Exactly, to maintain or to keep a marriage alive. So in that case, you could tell me, teacher, to keep, yeah, like to express completely what is the purpose of the recommendation, to keep a marriage alive. Yeah, so you could say to keep a marriage alive, and then the recommendation. You should be patient, you should communicate with your couple, you should respect each other, you have to trust on your couple, so on, so on. So this is the first way to describe the purpose of something. Ready? Teacher, to be emotionally healthy, to be emotionally healthy, wait, to be emotionally healthy, you ought to have a good relationship with God. You had better exercise regularly, right? So in that case, you can describe the purpose using to and then the action that we want to describe, right? So, or the purpose of that action. It's a possibility that we include in order. In order is an expression that means with the objective of, o sea, con el objetivo de, right? In order to, or it's a possibility to use also in order for, right? When we have for, we have two possibilities. Or we can have the noun, that is the person, and then the verb, yes? Or simply we can have changing the verb in ing. So I can say, for example, for a person or for someone, sorry, for someone to, that it's over here, to keep a marriage alive, and then the recommendation. For someone to be emotionally healthy, you should ta ta ta. Or To make it shorter, to make it easier, I can simply use the verb in ing and that's it. For example, for being emotionally healthy, I got healthy, yes. And then the recommendation for being emotionally healthy, teacher, you should exercise every day. That's it. If you notice, there is a comma that, as we know, is going to connect, yes, the two different ideas. Of course, I can do the same that we did before. You should exercise every day in order to be emotionally healthy. You should keep a good relationship with God in order for being emotionally healthy. So in this case, we have two different clauses, the suggestion or the second part. But the most important here is the purpose, yes, is the objective of the sentence, right? So in this case, when we want to describe the objective or the intention of my sentence, it's going to be done with these two parts, in order to or in order for, and then my intention, ready? In order to learn more vocabulary, you should ta ta ta. In order for a student to be more fluent, he should be ta ta ta, right? So that is the objective or the way in which we include objective sentences before a recommendation or before, like, you know, any kind of story that we want to complement it. After that, in the second part here, I decided to use it with suggestions, but we can do it with any other kind of sentence. Ready? What do you think, guys? Questions about the prepositions 2 and 4? Is it clear? Is good? Not good?
No question for me.
No question. Everything good. No? Anybody? No, that's good. So, my dear people, so we're going to leave, but before we leave, I have to give some important, well, actually, I need to ask you a question. What should I do? What should I do in order to approve this level? What should I do in order to approve this level and automatically, how do you see that? Enable the next level. You know, after you approve this level, automatically it's going to enable or open the next level, intermediate 2. But what should I do in order to approve this level? What are the requirements?
In order to approve, yes, in order to approve this level, you should complete 80%, 18%, 19? Oh my God, 19% of this level?
With a grade of minimum 80. 80 is the grade, and the percentage is 90. Ready? So, guys, we are right now, thank you, that it was perfect, the answer. We are right now in the week number 6. Ready? Our level intermediate 1, it's going to have 8 weeks. Ready? So we have to finish the 90% of the 8 weeks, which is more or less until the week number 7. Ready? More or less, depending how many classes you have taken. If you finish the 90%, automatically it's going to open the intermediate 2. But if you haven't, si no han terminado el 90%, intermediate 2 no se va a abrir. Así que I'm talking about in the week number 6. Las aviso como en la semana 6 para que tengan tiempito de completarlo, de pronto de correr un poquito, para que when we finish the week number 8 of intermediate 1, the next week you already have opened the intermediate 2. So you can program the classes normally, continue with me, you know. So the most or the best idea is to complete the 8 weeks or at least the 7 weeks in the corresponding time, so you can pass to the next level and continue with the 8 weeks. Intermediate 2 is also 8 weeks. So the idea is that you can complete it so you can continue with the 8 weeks of intermediate 2. If you don't complete the 8 weeks of intermediate 1, you won't be able to continue with intermediate 2. So you're going to be like blocked, right? Okay, guys, so it's just like letting you know with advance, okay? Questions, difficulties, if you clear this part?
Yes, it's clear.
Listo, my dear people. Good. Ahora, paréntesis. No, no paréntesis, no, just like the final point. Guys, you 5 and, bueno, other people who have been here in this class also have wonderful, wonderful, incredible, good level. Ready? So I want you to do your best to complete that because your level is great. So I really don't want you to lose your money or lose your time. I know that the activities are a lot and you have a lot of things to do, but try to complete it because I really want to continue with you in the same pace. Ready? So I don't want you to be blocked or stuck behind because really, really you have good level. And I think that you're going to finish this course without any problem. So I would like you to maintain the same people in my classes, especially in this level, because I mean, this level is incredible. I thought before that this class it was longer because it was more difficult, but you understood everything, so it was easier for me. That's why it was shorter. So this is just an invitation for you to advance a little bit faster. Well, the people who are not in the week number 6, who are in the week number 4, number 3, number 2, maybe try to piece up so you can catch up with the rest of the course and finish the level in the corresponding weeks. Okay, ready?
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes, of course.
I have had some troubles with the activities because I push. How do you say? I put my finger wrong in the how do you say that?
In the keyword.
In the keyboard, yes. So I have a really low grades. So maybe if I continue this way, it's probably that at the end of the, or I don't know. I mean, it's probably that I don't reach the 18%.
No, we have to, don't worry. What we can do, it's super simple. In that case, if they are minor mistakes, please send me a text message in WhatsApp and I will tell you everything what you have to do because it's easier to fix. So don't worry about it. That's it, but we have to reach the 80%. Okay, no worries.
That happens to me all the time also. And I get so angry with that because if I put my finger wrong, then it looks like everything's wrong.
I know.
And the score is so low because of that. So I hate that platform.
I know,
Really.
I hate it.
I don't
To be
like it.
honest, I hate it too. You know, at the beginning, I told you I also hate it. But well, that's what we got. So we gotta like, you know, make our life easier. But don't worry. When that happened and it's a stupid mistake, send me a screenshot and I will correct it. No worries, okay?
Okay,
And
teacher.
for the previous activities, just let me know which ones and what was the mistake. Send me a text message and I will explain everything in the text message, okay?
Thank you, teacher. I have another question.
Yes.
The speaking practices, if you play a lot of times the audio, it makes your grade down or no?
Not precisely the time of the number of times that you click repeated, but the time that you spend doing the activity. Of course, if you listen more times, it's going to spend more time. That's why it lowers the grade. But it's not because the number of times that you click it, but it's because the time that you spent doing the activity. That's the thing. But don't worry. I mean, that's if you have to listen 3-4 times, do it because that's what you gotta do. Don't worry about the grade. The grade we can fix it later, no worries. But do it until you feel comfortable and secure that you know understood everything. Okay, don't worry. Don't worry about the grades. The grades we can always fix it. You with a simple text message we can fix the grades. But the important thing is that you feel comfortable with the listening activity. Okay.
Teacher, I have a question.
Tell me, Sarah.
So the 90% is assistance.
The 90% is the two things, assistance to the classes and activities approved. Ready? So, for example,
that is in the progress.
yeah,
when
exactly.
you-
That is the progress that is under the score of the grade.
So the progress has to be 90%, 90.
90, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
90. So, and the grade has to be minimum 80. Of course, 85, 89, but minimum 80. Ready?
I have another question. Teacher.
Yes, tell me.
Last week I couldn't assist my classes because I was in field work, but I can program it with another teacher. Really?
Which week? The last week?
Yes, last week.
But did you program that week or you didn't program any class?
I haven't programmed any class.
If you haven't, you can do it any week, no problem.
Okay.
Ready? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Well, my dear people, so thank you for the attention. I really hope that we can continue the way that we have been here until here. See you the next class. The next class we have 2 classes. The next week we have 2 classes, sorry. So tomorrow at night you can already see it. So you can already program tomorrow at night or Saturday morning. Doesn't matter, ready? So have a good night, sleep tight, and see you next week, okay?
Thank you,
Thank
teacher.
you.
Bye,
Bye,
see you
everybody.
later.